Yeah, you're watching Arise News. Now more on the breaking news here in highbrow Ikoyi, a 21-story building under construction collapsed just a short while ago on Gerrard Road here in Ikoyi, a very highbrow, high-profile area of the city. Details are still very sketchy. Report says at least one body has been pulled out from the rubble. Let's get more details now as we join our Arise correspondent Adefemi Akisanya, who is at the site of the collapsed building. Adefemi, thank you so much. What more do we know at this point as we just rush to the venue of where this disaster has just happened? Where are we landing on the ground?
At around 2 o'clock, this building came down. Originally, it was 20 stories high. We're not sure of the 21 stories high. We're not sure of the cause of this collapse, but it has, of course, come down, and it's come down with people in it. While we were on ground, at least one person was pulled out of the rubble. The person is feared dead. That has not been confirmed. The body was turned over to emergency ambulance services. But as you can see here, the recovery operation is still in its early stages. On the grounds here are people who were at work, literally constructing this building when it came down. The gentleman just to my side here was at work on this building, saw it come down, is obviously a survivor himself. You can see that he is muddied with the rubble, also has a bump on his forehead from the impact. Sir, please tell us what happened just before. What were you guys doing just before the building came down?
We are the next building at 14-story building. We are working, and the other people is inside this 21-story are working. And after where we are, we just working in 14-story building, and we start hearing vibrate. Something was just vibrate. Before we look, all of us what we did there, we look outside, we can't see anything again. But what we are seeing, we know that this 21-story building is collapsing down, and we rescue ourselves to the other side. And more than 50 people was inside this 21-story. Or the other of the site where they are calling first call was inside there right now, like we are seeing talking. But all in frame.
Thank you very much for that account. You've just heard him say more than 50 people were inside that building, including the owner. As I said, one body has been pulled out. Mr. Femi, the owner, is believed to still be inside, and his condition, just like the condition of the other 50 people inside this building, is unknown. I was on ground when one body was pulled out. That was the body of a construction worker. That was one of the colleagues, one of the friends of the men on the ground here. To the top of this pile, people are still there. As I said, the rescue and recovery mission is still ongoing. This is still very much in this ongoing. You can hear the people on ground are not very happy. The gate leading to this building, Bosun, has been closed, has been locked, and that has restricted the ability for emergency services to enter this grounds. The people here who have been working also told me that they have been calling emergency numbers for more than an hour, and that to their experience has not been a call that has been answered. You can see the machinery that they're using to tear through the pieces of cement, trying to listen for any knocks or any sounds of people. But as it stands now, there is a lot of despair around here in Ikoyi. As I said, ambulance services, we were able to confirm at least 2 ambulances were on the ground. This is Gerrard Road, which connects to Alexander Road, which connects to Bordelon Road, as you said, in the highbrow area of Ikoyi. Right. The land we're standing on now is a completely different building here.
Adefemi, this is, like I said,
have you called?
Adefemi, yes.
More than 2 hours now, they have not here.
Nobody. Adefemi.
And we are in Nigeria now.
Yes, go ahead, Bosun, I can hear you.
Yes, ostensibly, those 50 odd numbers which were given by the respondent you spoke to earlier are still trapped in the building. From what you're hearing from those various voices of those who were, obviously they were working in other buildings, it looks like a few other buildings around there that are also under construction as well.
Absolutely. Many of the people who were working in construction were working in those other buildings that you see here. So you can imagine the level of the vibrations that they said that they felt, and of course the sound of the rubble coming down, of the building coming down. Many of them say they are convinced that there are dozens of bodies still inside, and they are the ones who were the people who brought out that first body, and they have said that they have been calling for emergency services, and emergency services, as it stands now, have not responded to this particular site. I can tell you that at least 2 ambulances were on the ground outside of the closed gate, and it's unclear what they are doing here at this very moment. But as I said, that first body that was found, thank you very much, that first body that was found was turned over to those emergency services there. So, Bosun, as I've said, very much still early in this rescue and recovery process. But if you listen to the gentlemen on the ground here, they're not very optimistic that any live bodies will be pulled from this rubble. We can only hope that that will not be the case, that in fact there will be survivors. But as it stands now, the situation is very, very bleak.
Yes, Adefemi, are there residential buildings in and around where this collapsed building is situated? If you look around you, aside these other few buildings that are also under construction, there has to be some integrity tests on those other buildings as well. Are there other residential houses, premises around where you're standing on the ground, right? Are they impacted visibly?
From what we can see, the residential buildings on the horizon there have, in terms of aesthetics, have largely been unharmed. However, this building here, if Sam could just pan his camera to this building here, you can see that this would be the closest of the residential buildings, and that is obviously still standing. The containers too still standing. So as I said, does sound like something's happening with the rescue mission just there.
Yeah,
yes, sure. So, Bosun, if you could just be patient with us, we will start to walk a bit closer just so we can see the extent of the damage.
Yeah, yes, but you've got to be careful, Adefemi, with your cameraman as well on those grounds, I'm sure, just to be safe, yourself, our crew as well. Please try to stay very safe.
What's happening there? What do you see there?
They are using the generator. The iron.
Yes.
That is, they will remove people who are dead body. A lot of dead body are there.
We're still live. It sounds like the men at the top of the building that you can see there have just discovered another body. Just there. And they're using a generator to cut the iron that's keeping the body from being pulled out.
They are cutting the iron to remove the people. They then go outside first. That's what they are doing right now.
Obviously, these are not official. Yeah, these are not official rescuers. These are just individuals who are in those other buildings being constructed. So they're not the official rescue workers of Lagos State or even the federal government at this moment as we are reporting this live.
Absolutely, Bosun. As it stands now, the gentlemen that you see conducting this rescue operation are construction workers. These are not emergency responders. There seems to be at least one emergency responder on the other side of this rubble. They're the ones who brought the machine. So I am hearing that it is official emergency responders that brought that yellow machine that they're using to cut into the metal that's keeping the next body from being brought out, Bosun. So as it stands now, of course, the people that you see here, you can see their high visibility jackets, you can see their hats. They were busy at work in the moments before this building came down. And as it stands now, they are all continuing to work, this time for completely different reasons. Rather than for constructing a building, it is for a rescue operation that none of them saw coming. Bosun, I wonder if you can give us a minute just so we can safely get to another location before we continue our live coverage.
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you so much. Adefemi Akisayan, as I said earlier, please, yourself and cameraman, please try and stay very safe. You've seen live images as we're live from the location on Gerrard Road in Highbrow, Ikoyi, here in Lagos, one of the very expensive housing location in Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial capital. You've seen early images when this building, 21-story building, reportedly came down about 2 hours ago, according to earliest reports that we've brought to you. Reports that we've gathered so far was that workers in the other building saw visibly when this particular 21-story facility came down. Eyewitnesses says there are about 50 people trapped in the building, including the owner of the building, who was there at the time with workers who were working on this particular estate building, who's now been reduced to rubble in just an instant. You're watching Arise News. This is live images, breaking news here on Arise News channel, wherever you're watching us here in Nigeria and around the world. A very sad and devastating incident. Reportedly, 50 people are reportedly trapped in the rubble, which you are looking at on your TV screen right now. 21-story building in downtown, in highbrow Ikoyi, Lagos, where you're seeing some of rescue operations going on, not definitely by officials of the government yet, but by other workers who are in the other buildings around there. As you can see, other high-story building still under construction. We'll bring you more images and coverage of this as the minutes and the hour pass by. Stand by with us here on Arise News. We're bringing you these images and, of course, eyewitness accounts as we have them. There's no official word yet from the authorities of Lagos State, which is responsible for building construction permits, the fire service, the police. There are no words yet from them. Some of the workers on the ground says they are yet to have responders, but our correspondent at Defemi Akisanya says there were at least 2 emergency ambulances that are already on the ground. But as far as the men with the equipment and men to be on the ground are yet to arrive. Defemi Akisanya, we're back with you. We hope you've gotten a bit of a safer location to bring us up to speed on this very devastating development.
Bosun, thank you very much for that break. We have now been able to switch from our microphone that had the cable to a microphone without, which gives us a bit more flexibility in moving around this site. But you can imagine that it's a very it's very important for us to stay as safe as possible as we approach the rubble. This is still very much a very high-risk area as it stands now. It's very unclear. I'll come down this way. Thank you. No worries. It's very unclear where safe footing is, but we're trying to get as close as possible. We did hear reports that another body had been found, but has not yet been removed from the rubble. They are using, I don't know if you can hear the sound of that machine. That machine is being used to cut the metal that's enclosed. What the responders are saying is the next body to be removed from this rubble. If you just take a look at the ground, there are pieces of course, concrete, and of course pieces of another material very similar to styrofoam that we're seeing on the ground here. If I just pick up a piece here, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Hope you can still hear us, Bosun.
Yes, we're live to you. Of course, you need to be very careful. Those concretes, you need to, if you have your nose masks there, yourself and the cameraman, I guess you should be wearing them. Try and put them on by now.
Absolutely.
Just to be sure that some of the debris from there are not getting to you. Defemi Akisanya, Rice correspondent, and our crew on the ground at Gerrard Road here in the highbrow Ikoyi, Lagos, reporting on the collapse of that 21-story building. We'll bring you up to speed.